Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who's been feeling like shit lately, and that's why I've got to give a special shout out to my honey bear. That's right. This guy has kept me alive. I'm here to break down UFC Fight Night, whatever, Blanchfield versus Barber. Okay, opening up the card, we have Hani Dos Santos versus Alice Ardelan. My prediction here is Hani Dos Santos wins, and I've got a winning by decision. Having said that, I've already put a small bet that includes Alice Ardelan. It's a parlay. She's at plus 220 right now. I got her at like plus 240, but regardless, my thoughts remain the same. There's value on her because I do expect this to be close and I do expect it to go the distance, even though both girls are very potent finishers, which kind of makes the under enticing here. But I also think both girls are really tough to get out of there. Each girl's been finished technically twice, but really once for Hani. She was submitted in round two against Alexia Tainara, who recently made her UFC debut and steamrolled Molly McCann. She shucked off an armbar and snatched Hayani's neck and choked her. And Alice Ardelan's been choked once in round two against Weili Zhang. And in her third fight, she lost by armbar in round two to Deanna Belbita, another excellent fighter. Maybe not at the UFC level, but still a UFC level fighter. So I guess the first pick I would go with for a finish would be Hayani by submission, considering she's a good submission artist. But I still think this one is likely to go the distance. I don't think it's worth betting on the over at minus 475. But yeah, I'll wait for the point spread, obviously, and I'll wait for the props. But in general, I'm happy having just put a small, meaningless bet that includes Alice Ardelan. Markel Medeiros versus Balaji. My pick here is Balaji wins, and I've got him winning by decision. I would pick him to get the first knockout as well. But despite all that, I'm still not sure about betting on him. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. He's minus 175, which is not a horrible number at all, but I still don't trust him really. I know he lost to a more resourceful fighter against Chris Duncan and with a guillotine. And I don't think Markel Medeiros is going to make him pay that same way. But there's still a little bit of doubt altogether. Even though he didn't tap, he kind of went out or halfway there. But I still have to pick Balaji with some trepidation. Markel Medeiros has been knocked out as an amateur, TKO'd anyway. It's not like he was face planted. So I guess I'd go with Balaji to get the first TKO based on that. But even without having seen that, I think Balaji has got more firepower. I'd pick it to get him the first TKO, but I'd also pick it to help him win a decision. And that's what I'm picking here. I expect this one to be mostly conducted standing. Kurt Halabah versus Jordan Levit. My pick here has to be Levit by decision. I think Kurt Halabah is really tough. He's been submitted once, knocked out once, but he's a fucking monster. Still tough as all fuck at 38 years old. Very deep resume, battle tested inside and outside the UFC. Multiple stints, the Ultimate Fighter, the rest of it. Contender Series. Kurt Halabah is battle tested, and he is my guy. And I hope he wins this fight. But I'm trying to be honest with you, and I got to go with Jordan Levit duplicating the success of Trey Ogden and just kind of stuffing the guard of Kurt Halabah. Kurt is really good on the ground. I'd love for him to submit Jordan Levit, and he's really good on the feet. I think he can really rough up Jordan Levit, but I still think Jordan Levit's got takedowns in his arsenal. He's got an advantage there, and I think Kurt Halabah can kind of be pinned. So I'm going with Levit by decision. Trevan Giles versus Andreas Gustafsson here. I'm going with Trevan Giles. I'm going to go with him winning by decision, but I'm not too confident in the prediction. Having said that, I've bet on him because he's an underdog. He's plus 130 here, and the odds are getting tighter, I believe. But yeah, I'm going to go with Giles based on UFC level experience and horseshit. He's not looking too good as of late. He doesn't have a lot of momentum, but he's been in there with a better class of fighter. And I'm aware Andreas Gustafsson has a solid resume. He's never been finished himself, and he's got amateur victories that mean a lot over Joseph Luciano, and over Christian Leroy Duncan. But I still think Trevan Giles can show him that next level here as a pro. I don't think Andreas Gustafsson is Carlos Prates, and I know he's not Gabriel Bonfim. But regardless, Trevan Giles doesn't have a lot of momentum, and it's tough to trust him. But his back's against the wall professionally, but certainly now that he's taken this fight on short notice, shows you his back is against the wall and he's out of options. But I think he's going to fight hard, scratch and claw for a victory here. I think he gets that jab going. I think he's a really versatile fighter, too. But I think he gets that jab going. He can keep Gustafsson off of him. I think he's got sharp striking. And if he protects himself and none of those vulnerabilities hit the surface, I've got him outworking Gustafsson. Katlyn Vieira versus Macy Shaon. My pick here is Macy Shaon wins. And I'm going to go with her winning by decision, I guess. But she's a pretty potent finisher. She's a monster. And a finish wouldn't surprise me with Macy Shaon, which is why I've already wasted a few pennies on the under. But I'm about to sneeze or something. I don't know. Whatever. Either way, I'm going with Macy because I think she may not be as technical as Irene Aldana, but she is a beast on the feet in a different kind of way. She's just a beast in general, really physical fighter, a lot of great physical traits that I think Katlyn's not used to. And I think Macy Shaon is going to rough her up in general. Macy can also slow the fight down and get top position, use her frame to pin you and slow you down, even though she's really good at finishing fights on the ground as well. But yeah, I'm going to go with her winning by decision. I think Katlyn Vieira is very tough. She's been knocked out by Irene Aldana, but that was a one-punch knockout pretty much. Otherwise, she's been there scratching and clawing for 3 rounds and even 5 rounds very hard and at a high level. But here, this is 3 rounds. I think Macy is going to be able to be the bully, and I'm going with Macy Shaon. Not a lot of confidence, but certainly enough to have bet on her already, which I have. The next one, Jafel Felio versus Ardelan Nashimento. I'm going with Ardelan Nashimento, and I'm going to go with him winning by decision, even though a submission certainly wouldn't surprise me. I think this is going to be a really fun fight. I hope it's a fun grappling fight. I think Jafel Felio might try to exploit advantages or disadvantages of Nascimento's on the feet. But I still think this is a fight between 2 very tough guys and grappling-based guys. And before long, it's going to settle into a grappling match. And I've got Nashimento winning that. I think Nascimento's really fucking tough to get out of there. He's never been finished. And I think Jafel Felio is really tough as well, but he's been finished before. And I think Nashimento would get the first finish, and it would be by submission. But still, the pick is Nashimento, and I'm going to go with him winning by decision in a fight that turns into a grappling match and a fight that has him winning a positional battle. Next up, we have Zack Reese versus Dusco Toddorovich. I feel like it should be Zachary Reese, but either way. I'm going to go with Zack Reese winning. Having said that, staying away from this in general, really just resisting the urge to bet on Dusco Toddorovich. The under is not enticing to me. It's at minus 190 pretty much for under a round and a half. I'm never too crazy about under round and a halves anyway, but in this one, I'm a little more confident. Neither guy, I can't trust either guy as the nail these days. And I think Dusco can make Zack uncomfortable. I didn't like the way Zack looked getting knocked out in his last fight. But I don't think Dusco is nearly as dangerous as Azamat Bakoyev. That is who beat him, right? Either way, I'm going with Zachary Reese. I think he's the better athlete. I'm trusting he's in good shape. And I don't think Dusco is dangerous enough to go through him like that. And I think Zack is going to shine with his athleticism and win this fight. But again, no bet as of now. Then we got Dustin Jacobe versus Bruno Lopez. The props and everything are available now, which I'm just seeing here for the first time, to be honest. But I'm going with Dustin Jacobe, and I am going to go with him winning by decision, which can be found at plus 225. Worse odds than knockout, plus 165. Of course, Bruno Lopez has been beaten by knockout. That's his one loss to Brenison Hibiero. He got caught cold on the Contender Series. Let me pull up his record here. I've got the Sherdog page up as well. But yeah, while it's loading, yeah, I know that's his one loss. He was knocked out 2 years ago, whatever it was, against Brenison and Piero, who, despite all of his vulnerabilities, is very fucking dangerous in many different ways. But yeah, his power got him there, and a knockout wouldn't surprise me, which is why I've already bet on Dustin Jacobe, his money line. I didn't see the props here, and I'm fine with the money line. I think covers everything. And Bruno Lopez, I thought he did what he needed to do. I can't say he looked good in his UFC debut against Gachi Yasilov. That is who he beat. Right? Magomed Gachi Yasilov, but I did think he won the fight. I thought he totally neutralized him and did a great job slowing the fight to a crawl. But yeah, Jacobe, I think he's going to be I think Jacoby's definitely going to be the better striker. I think he's certainly got the better chance of getting the knockout. And I think he's going to do a good job keeping Bruno off of him. I think Dustin Jacobe could make more work, more dangerous work of the clinch. And in the co-main event, we have another fight. Right now, I'm here to talk about Billy Ray Goff versus Ramiz Brahimaj. This is one where I'm picking this guy, but I'm betting on the other. This is a fight that was made a few days ago, really. These guys were supposed to fight different fighters, and their opponents both dropped out, and they're actually fighting each other in a few weeks. But now these guys are put together. They're both in great shape. I am going with Ray Goff to win. I'm going to go with him winning by decision, but I've got to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if either guy was able to get a finish here. I think if this fight ends early, I've got Brahimaj going through Billy Ray Goff and getting a submission early. And if it ends late, I think either guy could win a sloppy fight. And I think this will turn into a fun, exhausting fight if it goes long. And I do expect it to. Again, my pick is Billy Ray winning a decision. But that's only based on the fact that I've seen both guys take it, and they're really tough to get out of there. Neither guy's been knocked out, even though both guys have been hurt a bunch and whatever. Neither guy's been knocked out, and as a pro, neither guy's been submitted. Billy Ray Goff was submitted twice, though, as an amateur. One is listed as a TKO, but it's a submission. Having said that, both of them are technical submission losses. He did not tap. Time ran out of round one, and he was half out. So the fight was stopped. One was with a triangle, the other was with a guillotine, I think. And in both fights, he did not stop fighting. And the fact that he didn't tap is a testament to his toughness. He hasn't been tapped as a professional, but Ramiz Brahimaj is a first-round monster. He's a guy where he's not quite as sound as Terrence McKinney, but he is a guy where you play his record. He's got almost all submissions, a few in round two, or at least one over William Macario, former UFC fighter, but almost all submissions in round one, and a knockout, actually, in his last one against Mickey Gall, which was a very nice, pleasant surprise, if you're a fan of Ramiz Brahimaj, I guess. But still here, I think I'm picking Billy Ray Goff to win. He is a striker and a brawler, but he is a wrestler, I believe, first and foremost. At least according to, I think if he wrestled in Florida or whatever, I don't know. Either way, I think he's going to be able to outlast Ramiz Brahimaj if he gets out of round one. I expect him to be the more comfortable brawler and the guy that's more used to fighting like in an absolute war under serious fire. And that fight against Trey Waters in his last one, even though he lost, it was a great showcase of his traits. So yeah, I'm going with Billy Ray. Having said that, I've already bet on Ramiz Brahimaj at plus 270. I didn't know what these odds would look like. And then they dropped, and I was just I thought it would be way closer than that. He's almost a 3-1 underdog. And yeah, Billy Ray Goff, he's definitely more sound, I think, and again, more comfortable. Ramiz Brahima, even though he got a knockout, he's a guy who's looked uncomfortable down the stretch in some sloppy fights, but he's still showing toughness and grit and a bunch of great traits himself, even with his fucking ear hanging off and his face swollen shut. He's always been a tough guy, and I think he's definitely a beast of a submission artist. So there's upside there, and I've played Ramiz Brahimai. And in the co-main event, Mateusz Gamrod versus Ludovic Klein. This one has the props available. I've got Mateusz Gamrod winning. I've got him winning by decision. I've bet on the over because I do think Ludovic Klein, even if he wins, as dangerous as he is, it should be by decision. I think just Gamrod is so fucking tough. Ludovic Klein, I definitely think, is the sharper striker. He's much as, he moves well and his strikes himself are very, very sharp compared to a Gamrod. But Gamrot's a beast and he's a relentless wrestler. And he's the historically bigger guy. Even though Ludovic Klein's handled himself well at lightweight, when I picked against him due to physicality, like with Thiago Moises, and even though Ludovic Klein has incredible takedown defense, I still think Gamrod is that fucking relentless where I favor Gamrod, and I've got him winning by decision. I am going to pull up the props here. Gamrod winning by decision is minus 120. It's not the most enticing compared to his money line. I've bet on his money line before the props were available. I don't know if I would ever bet on him winning by decision because shit does happen. And Ludovic Klein has been finished. But I still think this one should go the distance regardless of who wins. That's why I'm comfortable with my bet on the over. I think Ludovic Klein is deceptively sharp as a grappler. So much more known as a striker since hitting the big leagues. And he is a much sharper striker, I think, but he's still got a wealth of grappling, a wealth of submission victories to his name, and I do think he's viable there. But I still think, in general, the guy doing the bullying on the ground is going to be Gamrod. And I would also go with Gamrod getting the first submission, and it would be some heavy top game shit. But in general, I expect this one to go the distance. The pick is Gamrod, and the bet is the over. And then in the main event, we have Erin Blanchfield versus Macy Barber. I haven't bet on this one yet. Now everything's available. I'm still not exactly sure which way to go, but I guess it depends on how the rest of the night goes. My prediction is Erin Blanchfield wins, and I've got her winning by decision. And that could be played at minus 115. Not bad. Cuts the money line in half. And I do think it is far and away her most likely path to victory. Macy's never been finished. But I do think Erin Blanchfield is the better grappler. Submission for her is plus 380. She's got 5 rounds to get it done. I just think Macy Barber is a physical fucking tank. And I envision Erin Blanchfield trying to make the most of her top control and slowing the fight down and just trying to ensure that she's on top for the round. And I don't think, I think she could, maybe Macy Barber could make her pay for advancing. And submission is definitely more likely than knockout, but I don't think she's as likely to get the submission as decision. And for Macy Barber, she's definitely more dangerous on the feet. Her knockout is plus 500, almost equivalent to her decision line at plus 450. Erin's never been finished. I do think decision is much more likely, even though Macy, if she's winning a fight, she's usually beating the shit out of you. And she's already gotten enough high profile finishes where, yeah, her power needs to be respected. But I do think Macy's primary path to victory is decision. I think Erin Blanchfield is that tough. She's a gritty fighter. And to have grit, you need durability. I really was impressed with her grit, both against Tyler Santos in a 3-round fight and especially against Rose Namajunas in a 5-round fight. Not that those were wars. They were both slow-paced fights, but there were fights where high-level opponents were leading the dance against Blanchfield, and she took over for the second 2/3 of that fight, or 3/5 or whatever, and won a decision. And I'm picking that kind of thing to happen here. I think Erin is going to be better on top. I think she's going to have a hard time corralling and taking down Macy, but I do think she is going to corral and take down Macy. And I've got that being the difference. On the feet, I think Erin can get in her face with her toughness, and Erin's got formidable striking, but Macy's definitely got more going on. And I think Macy's the much sharper striker. She's sharper, more dangerous, especially when she's not hitting the air. Yeah, I've seen that Alexa Grasso video. But yeah, I'm going with Erin Blanchfield. The pick is her winning by decision. I haven't bet on it yet. The point spread here, minus 170 for plus 5.5 points for Macy. I haven't bet on that either. But I do think the decision will not be a shutout. I envision it being a close enough fight. So, yeah, the pick is Erin Blanchfield. I almost made it. I gotta go, guys. I feel like shit. I don't know if you could hear my voice. But either way, like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. And I will check in after the fucking fights.